it's warmer and makes you sleepy.
Okay, my name is Feng, FENG. Yeah, so I'm gonna start to talk about my hometown. It's in northeastern China. It's a capital of a province that is closest to Russia, actually. It's called Harbin, and it had about 3 million people when I was before 10 years old. So we were staying in a house. It's a Russian style house, 1 story. So until I was 5 years old, and after then we kind of moved into a concrete box where we right now are living. So this diagram is kind of showing what my mom did to me. Actually, it was a really good thing. Maybe the expression is not very good, but yeah, just to show anywhere but my home. So basically, we only have 1 weekend per week. So my mom used to take me everywhere around the city. So she didn't allow me to just stay at home. For instance, she took me to the river and to the parks, to the department stores, bookstores, that sort of thing. So yeah, so you can see all the paths we took, and also maybe the boundary is not very restrained. It's a very dense urban condition. So so this collage is showing what I experienced during these little trips. So I became obsessed with street names. Mulholland Drive and Sunset Boulevard, they all coming from films, but it's just an illustration. And also, I became obsessed with buses. You know, it's we didn't have a car. We don't even have a car right now because most of Chinese people don't have a car right now. It's actually pretty sustainable if you just ride the bus everywhere. And you know, the bus used to be very long with a waist in the middle. So it's kind of a gigantic thing, and you can see everything from the frame, from the window when I was very little. And the buses can stop at some point, and some people get in and some people get off. So it's kind of an observation process of different people in the city. And also, I got obsessed with the density of the city. Yeah, I was really interested in this kind of urban condition, not just the suburban area, as different houses are which are remote from each other. So in a very dense condition, maybe you can experience like a very little thing in the middle of in between the 2 buildings, and like in New York. So it might be in a concrete forest, but sometimes it gave me a feeling of shelter. So this to show the river. It's like the same width as a Mississippi River in New Orleans. So it's pretty wide. Yeah, and we went there. There's a monument on the riverfront, so it's a kind of like a symbol of the city. We went there in order to get a destination of the trip. Yeah, so, and I think this is a kind of process of how my childhood was like. But one day, one of my mom's friends told me he would build a city if I designed it. I actually believed them. So yeah, I started to design it immediately, and yeah, I even called him. When are you going to build it? I finished my first draft. Yeah, so this is actually the 3rd edition of the map. The first map I think I drew it when I was 9 years old. So this was completed in junior high. Yeah, so it's a very complex urban condition without scale. just a make-believe city, I guess, and I also designed some of the buildings in it. So it's very childish somehow, and just as a response to my obsession with those things in the city, I guess. So it's kind of like a relief of my obsession. So I think that's all.
But that's not a childhood drawing, is it? This is your recent interpretation of it?
No, it was completed in junior high. Yeah. But the first one was pretty much like this, but not as detailed. I think the first edition was just done like this whole area without the port. Yes, but the city grid was there. This L-shaped thing as a major connection to the adjacent cities. It's a coastal city. I wanted to be very convenient in terms of transportation.
What were the major bus lines?
Yeah, it's a good point. Because, I literally wrote down every route in terms of different stops. Like one bus can have like 30 stops or 40 stops. So I wrote them down. And when I was very little, I used to just simulate the bus sound, you know, just to walk around the city and like maybe 5 minutes per stop or so. So I just did it. It was like a game. I continued to do this for like 5 hours or so. Yes, it's pretty hard to believe.
So this is a holy city. This is a total figment of your imagination, right?
It has real site, but the real site is pretty hilly. But right now you can see it's on a very flat topography. It's a you know, there are two major islands of China. There's one at the south of it. It's called Hainan province. So it's right at the southeastern point of that island. It used to have a very prosperous salt industry. So yeah, it has a real site, but I didn't know anything about this topography and everything there. I just imagine things like this. Right.
So did your friend designate this city or this place, or did you select it yourself? Did your friend ask you?
It was not a friend. It was my mother's friend. My mom's friend. It was an adult, so it's very bad to cheat children. But actually, I chose the site. I chose the site because it's very close to other countries like Southeastern Asia. So I don't want it to be anywhere inland. Yeah, so that was the reason why I chose there. Kind of.
So what did he say or she say when you gave
when's he
him
gonna
the first
build?
draft?
Oh, right. Yeah, then he disappeared. I was really frustrated.
Are you an only child?
You're right.
Who asked that question?
I did.
What provoked that question?
Earlier when he was talking about his mom taking him everywhere, because my parents did the same thing, and I think that people who have more than two don't typically take their children as many places as only children.
Right.
You want to go next?
Sure.